Stop believing everything the history books taught you about money. Because if you think economics started with Adam Smith or Karl Marx, you are missing the most dangerous lesson history has to offer. We are going to travel back nearly 1,000 years, long before Wall Street or the Federal Reserve, to uncover a warning that predicts exactly why your grocery bill is skyrocketing and why the housing market feels impossible today. You see, most people look at the economy like a machine, gears and levers, but I want you to visualize something different. I want you to picture a house of cards. It's tall, it's intricate, and from the outside it looks magnificent, shimmering with gold and promise. This was the world of the Islamic Golden Age around 1100 CE. While Europe was still crawling out of the mud of the Dark Ages, cities like Baghdad and Damascus were the financial powerhouses of the world, pulsing with silk, spices, and silver. They were the New York and London of their time. But in the middle of this booming wealth, one man, a scholar named Al-Ghazali, looked at this glittering house of cards and realized something terrifying. The foundation was rotting. He saw a society getting rich faster than it was getting wise, a civilization obsessed with the accumulation of currency, but completely detached from the morality of that currency. Does that sound familiar? It should, because we are living in that exact same timeline right now. Al-Ghazali wasn't impressed by the height of the tower. He was obsessed with the glue holding it together, and he realized that when money loses its moral compass, the glue dissolves. He warned that an economy thriving outwardly could be dying inwardly, creating a zombie system that walks and talks but has no soul. This isn't just history. This is a diagnostic report of the 21st century. We are sitting in a house of cards built on debt, speculation, and hollow promises. And just like Al-Ghazali predicted, we are confusing growth with health. If you want to understand why the crash is coming, and more importantly, how to protect yourself when gravity finally kicks in, you need to understand the ghost in the machine. You need to understand the man who linked money to morality before the West even knew what a bank was. But to get there, we first have to shatter the biggest myth you've been told about the cash in your pocket. It's not what you think it is. You need to fundamentally rewire your brain regarding what money actually is, because most of us have been looking at it upside down. Al-Ghazali didn't see a gold dinar as a god to be worshipped. He saw it as a mirror. Think about a mirror for a second. It has no color of its own, no image of its own. Its entire value comes from what it reflects. Money is exactly the same. It is a tool, a facilitator, a ghost that allows a shoemaker to trade with a farmer without trading shoes for wheat directly. But here lies the dangerous trap that destroys empires. We are taught that accumulation is the goal, that having a massive pile of cash makes you safe. But Al-Ghazali argued that money is like blood in the human body. As long as it flows, the body is alive, healthy, and strong. But what happens when blood stops moving? It clots. The body dies. When you take money out of circulation and bury it in a vault, you aren't saving wealth. You are strangling the economy. You are freezing the bloodstream of society. Now, bring back that house of cards in your mind. The base of that house represents the active money circulating in the market, buying bread, paying wages, building homes. When the wealthy hoard money out of fear or greed, they are literally pulling the bottom cards out of the structure to lock them away in a safe box. They think they are protecting themselves, but they are actually removing the foundation of the very system that made them rich. This isn't just a medieval theory. This is the crisis of modern inequality. When trillions sit idle in offshore accounts or dead assets, the rest of the economy starves, prices distort, and the structure begins to wobble. Al-Ghazali called this imprisoning money, an injustice not just to the poor, but to the currency itself, because you are forcing it to act against its nature. If you are starting to see why your bank account feels stagnant while the top 1% pulls away, you need to smash that subscribe button right now, because we are decoding the matrix of money that schools refuse to teach you. But here is the scary part. Hoarding is just passive destruction. It's just neglect. There is a much more aggressive cancer that eats away at the house of cards. a behavior that Al-Ghazali despised more than anything else. It's something you see every single day on the news, something disguised as smart business, but in reality, it is the parasite that kills the host. You might be worried about hackers stealing your credit card info, or a market crash wiping out your portfolio. But Al-Ghazali identified a thief far more dangerous than any criminal. A thief that lives inside the palace and shakes your hand with a smile. We are talking about the state itself. In the medieval world, rulers who ran out of money would secretly melt down gold coins and mix them with cheap copper, passing them off as pure. This was the original inflation, a silent tax that stole wealth from the poor without them ever seeing a bill collector. Al-Ghazali didn't mince words. He called this what it was, a betrayal of God and the people. When a ruler debases the currency, they aren't just printing money. They are pouring water on the house of cards. The cards don't just get heavy, they get soggy, they lose their structural integrity, and they begin to dissolve from the inside out. This is the moment the glue of trust completely evaporates. Al-Ghazali warned that when the state cheats, the people learn to cheat back. Why would a merchant be honest about his weights if a king isn't honest about his coins? The corruption trickles down from the throne to the gutter, turning the entire economy into a web of lies. Does this sound like the world you see when you check the price of eggs or gas? It's the same old trick, just with digital zeros instead of copper filings. If you want to arm yourself with the knowledge to see through these lies, you need to hit that like button and subscribe right now, because the algorithm tries to hide this kind of truth. Al-Ghazali predicted exactly what happens next. Gresham's law, centuries before Gresham was even born. He knew that when people lose faith in the local coin, they abandon it. They flee to foreign currencies, to gold, to anything real, leaving the state with worthless metal and a broken society. It is the ultimate self-own by the government. They think they are stretching their budget, but they are actually snapping the spine of the economy. The house of cards is now trembling violently. The foundation is pulled out by hoarders, the top is overloaded by speculators, and the cards themselves are rotting from inflation. The collapse isn't just a possibility anymore, it's a mathematical certainty. But here is the twist that scares me the most. Al-Ghazali knew that once the collapse starts, it doesn't stop at the bank account. It tears apart the social fabric itself, turning neighbor against neighbor. And that brings us to the final, brutal reality of what happens when the dust settles. We have watched the foundation get pulled out by hoarders, the top get overloaded by speculators, and the cards themselves dissolve from government debasement. So what happens next is not a mystery, it is gravity. The house of cards falls. And when it falls, it doesn't just make a noise, it wipes out generations of wealth in a single afternoon. Al-Ghazali saw this happen in the Islamic world. We saw it in 1929. We saw it in 2008. And if you aren't paying attention, you are going to see it again very soon. But here is the piece of the puzzle that modern economists miss, the secret sauce that Al-Ghazali understood perfectly. Economies don't collapse because the math stops working. They collapse because the people inside the system stop trusting each other. When the moral framework disintegrates, the financial system follows right behind it. You cannot fix a broken economy with more debt or more printed money. That is just trying to tape the house of cards back together while it's on fire. The only real solution, the only hard asset that never depreciates, is integrity. Al-Ghazali's final lesson is that wealth without responsibility is a ticking time bomb. A society that rewards the cheat and punishes the honest man is a society that has already signed its own death warrant. Look around you right now, at the crypto scams, the bailouts, the too big to fail excuses. Does that look like a stable system to you? Or does it look like a tragic ending waiting to happen? You have a choice to make today. You can keep playing their game, keep adding weight to a rotting structure, or you can start building your own foundation on solid ground. We talk about real assets, real history, and the uncomfortable truths that keep your money safe on this channel. If you want to survive the collapse that Al-Ghazali predicted 1,000 years ago, you need to be part of this community. So, do me a favor, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because the house is shaking, and I want you to be the one standing when the dust settles. And before you go, I have a question for the real thinkers watching this. Do you think our current system can be fixed, or do we need to let the house of cards fall to build something new? Let me know in the comments below, because the best answer might just get pinned. I'm Finance Daddy, and remember, history doesn't repeat, but it will crush you if you ignore it.